So, first of all, thing to think about is the room that you are in. Make sure that it's as quiet as possible, that it doesn't have an echo in it. Particularly when we're delivering these sort of webinars from an office, they can be really echoey, so be aware of that. Also, think about your background. I'm quite lucky in here. I've got a plain wall, so it's not going to be distracting for the audience at all. You might not be able to have a plain wall, which is fine, but make sure that what's in your background is on brand, is relevant and not distracting. So if you have a naturally messy office, I won't be showing you this side of the office. It can be really distracting for the people watching you present. And also they'll spend their time going, oh, I like that book, or oh, that's interesting, opposed to actually listening to what you're saying. So be aware of that. Second thing to think about is lighting and where you're situated within the room. We want to be front lit, so we want our faces to have lots of nice light on them, opposed to being backlit. So if I was doing this in front of a window, all you'd see is the light shining through the window and my face would be in total shadow. So we want to get some nice light on our faces. So if I show you really quickly, if I switch, I've got two lamps on and an overhead light. If I switch those off, already you've lost a lot of the contour of my face. You can't lip read me anymore. And when we were talking earlier about the challenges of broadband speed, that's a really important thing to consider. If you are presenting in front of a window, just close the curtains and just really test it before going live to make sure that you are able to be seen. So that's thinking about the room that you're in, thinking about the lighting. The next thing, think about the camera angle. So you might need to lift your computer up or down, or your chair up or down. But again, we are having a face-to-face conversation technically with a tiny little dot at the top of the screen. If I'm too far up, I'll show you, all you're going to see is this area, not ideal. And I feel like I'm talking down to you. Or all you're seeing is up my nose, which no one needs to see that. Or if you're too far down and you're kind of looking up into the camera, again, it just looks strange. Our aim with all this presentation stuff is to engage and connect with the people at the other end of the ether. So really making sure that you are close enough to the screen. Some people do like presenting a little closer. Depending on the content, that might be relevant. I like to talk with my hands. That's a really important way for me to communicate. So this is just a bit too much face. But also think about being too far away. If you were watching this on a mobile phone, I'd be so tiny, you wouldn't see me at all. So get that balance right. Get a good distance away from the camera. Get the right angle. And make sure that you are able to talk directly, eye contact to eye contact with that tiny dot. It's really distracting, the fact that we've got a little camera image of ourselves down here in my case, but often elsewhere. And I spend a lot of time on conference calls watching the person I'm speaking to, just checking out when their roots need doing or how their hair's looking, and they're like, yeah, totally listening. It's so distracting. Again, this is all about making eye contact with your audience. So try and, not worry about yourself and concentrate on the messages that we're delivering. So the room, lighting, camera angle. Next thing, think about what you are wearing. So general advice when you're on camera is to stay away from black, white, and bright red. They just don't come across as well on camera and they have connotations linked to them, so just try and avoid them. But bold jewel colours or pastels are really great. Try and make it a block colour. Patterns don't come across very well on camera at all. They're really distracting to the eye. Our eye can't cope with them. So avoid patterns, avoid shiny material. Not that I think that anyone's going to be wearing their sequin dresses to do delivering training, but keep to really nice solid colour and it will make you a lot more visible on screen. Also think about whether or not your clothes make any noise. Often if you're in a ruffly shirt or something that just makes noise as you move, that's really distracting for yourself and for the participants. And make sure that it's something you're really comfortable in. If you feel tight or restricted, then that automatically is going to come across in the way that you're delivering, almost even more so than when we're standing up in front of an office in front of a room full of people, because we're right here. Also, ladies, if you're being front lit, you might want to think about wearing a bit more makeup than normal. Guys, I'm not suggesting you need to go out and start dolling yourselves up, but if you do wear makeup on a regular basis, that you might feel a bit washed out in a front lit light. And then my final point is just around posture. So again, I love the way that Lucy described that we're trying to create a party atmosphere in the room. If your posture is down here or just to the side or slumped back, you know, generally when I'm sat chatting to my husband on FaceTime, it's here. Our job again is to engage the audience, to kind of have a really nice solid posture, shoulders nice and down, good energy in the spine. Keeping your elbows into your sides and using your hands to gesticulate is really good. This means that everyone can still see your hand gestures, but they're not being lost in a big theatrical way, and they're not interfering with your face. You know, we don't want any of this. We just want you to be able to reiterate your message really clearly and get it across. And then finally, thinking about your breathing. I know this is going to be a really challenging time for us if we've never done courses online before. I'm already, you know, having mild palpitations about the tech side of it. However, as we get more nervous, we all know that we automatically start breathing from here. So make sure that when you are delivering your presentations and any training, you're going right down to your bottom of your lungs, you know, really grounding yourself, breathing from your stomach. And that's just going to calm you down and make this whole situation slightly less frenetic. Just because we're doing it in a conference call style, none of the basic rules of presentation skills, you know, they don't disappear out the window. You do just need to think that, you know, you're not trying to project to an entire room now. We're trying to have that really intimate conversation one-to-one. So I hope that is useful. I feel like I need to stop talking now. So have a lovely weekend and, you know, stay healthy, everybody. Take care.